and welcome to the Futurum Tech Webcast. I'm Shelley Kramer, one of the founding partners and a principal analyst here at Futurum Research. And on today's episode, I'm joined by David Stearns, who's the global head of Google Alliance's sales for Poly. Basically, that means that anything that has to do with Google, David's involved in it. And we're going to talk today about some exciting and an exciting new announcement. The first Android appliance to work with Google Meet, Poly Studio X family. We're really excited about that. Before we get started in our conversation, though, let's back up and just kind of reflect for a minute. The last 2 years have been anything but normal, and they have certainly redefined the workplace, where we are, how we work, everything about what was our normal was upended as a result of navigating a global pandemic. And many organizations had to adopt new technologies at pretty much a lightning speed. Collaboration tools became our lifeline. Collaboration tools actually became our lifeline to our families and to our work colleagues and to our customers. So tools that enable productivity across the workplace, of course, are really important part of our success. And this new hybrid work environment that has evolved as we've navigated a pandemic is not going away. We know that for certain. And but the reality of it is that finding the right solutions is not always easy. Not all hardware tools work with common collaboration platforms. And this is what Poly is aiming to change. And this is what David and I are going to be talking about today. So with that, David, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Yeah, it's absolutely great to be here. I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I like to do when we kick off these shows is I'd love to just hear a little bit about, I know what your title is, and I personally know a little bit about your career path, but I'd love it if you would share with our team. You've been immersed in the collaboration space for a really long time. So if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about your kind of career path, I know our audience would love to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, I guess I've been around for a while, right? So I've been in collab for a long time. I've been at Poly here for about a year. Before that, I was at Cisco for about a decade. Prior to that, did a bunch of video conferencing stuff at Tamberg, and did a whole lot of stuff with voice, with contact center. Back in the day, voicemail, all that kind of stuff at Avaya and Lucent. So yeah, that's kind of the background.
You have collab in your blood.
Yeah, I do. I do.
You do. So I kicked off the show talking about some exciting news. Will you share with us a little overview about this news and what's going on there?
Yeah, I got to say, we're really excited to announce that we are going to be the first Android-based, single codec video appliance that's going to work natively with Google Meet, right? So right now, simply put, Google customers don't have the option of this all-in-one kind of Android device. And what you're going to see at launch here before too long is you're going to see I hate to use product names, but you'll see our Studio X 30, 50 and 70 devices that will work. So think small, medium, large kind of rooms, right? Shortly after that, we'll move to another product line that allows you to do that customization, because particularly in mid and large size enterprises, they still require a lot of customization. So it's really an exciting time for Google and for Poly. We're really excited about it.
Google just held its Google Cloud Next event, and I'm covering some of the news coming out of that. But the reality of it is, the reason I think this is so super exciting is because there have been some key players who've kind of dominated the collab space, right? Zoom, WebEx, Microsoft Teams, and I think sometimes Google Meet has a really involved user base. I think that a lot of customers want to use Google Meet. So being able to have tools that will facilitate this and kind of take their Google Meet experience to a whole new level is really going to be exciting.
Yeah, we agree. We think it's just going to be fantastic for their customers, for their partners. It's a great opportunity for all of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about, I spoke in general terms. Let's talk a little bit, though, if you would, about this target audience. Who is the target audience here, and how are they going to benefit?
Yeah, the target audience really is pretty simple. It's customers who've made that decision to use Google Meet as their primary web conferencing application. When you look at the benefits that we're talking about, I can tell you what I think about the benefits, but I've probably had, Shelley, 30 NDA conversations with customers that are very, very large and customers that are smaller. And if I up level the discussions that we've had, I'll probably put it in four kind of broad categories. The first thing they're telling me is they're really excited to see, hey, here's a leader in video conferencing
Right.
that's moving into this Google ecosystem. So they're really excited about our share position. They know who we are. They also know we've got a fantastic partner ecosystem because they deal with a lot of them every single day. But beyond that, this direct sales team that we have, our technical resources to assist them, that kind of stuff, when you benchmark it around some of the competition in the Google ecosystem today, they're pretty excited about that. So that's probably the first point. The second, and I would say came up on every single call, it didn't matter if they were big or small, it was about investment protection with video hardware.
Right.
They're telling us unequivocally, hey, I don't want to replace all my rooms if I change my web conferencing provider in a year.
Right.
Uh, and with the Studio X, guess what? You don't have to do that. You can preserve your entire investment. You can choose, as long as it's a supported web conferencing provider, which almost all of them are now that Google's in the mode. This idea of rip and replace is gone, and they're really, really excited about it. It's a big, big deal. The next one, at probably the top of the stack, is what I would say multiple web conferencing providers. So believe it or not, many customers are standardizing on one web conferencing player, but many aren't. Many are still using multiple. And what they're telling us is, these are real examples. They said, I don't want to put a Chromebox for Meet product in one corner of my room and a Teams device in the other corner of my room. What I want to be able to do is support that. And they love our ability to actually do that in a variety of ways. And probably the fourth thing that I would tell you that kind of rose to the top was all around support, speed of deployment. And that goes to the heart of the form factor, right? Cameras, speakers, mic, compute, all in one form factor. It just makes supporting the devices so much easier. You don't have to worry about the external compute and provisioning it and administering it and supporting it. We had one customer tell us, people are walking off with my cameras. One of the Google customers, you don't have to worry about those kind of things. The form factor supports all of it. So those would probably be, Shelley, the big four that I'm hearing from those conversations.
Well, I think those are significant big four. And I will say, as a business owner and a chief decision maker and a chief budget approver, when I want something to happen, I want it to happen with as much speed and ease as humanly possible. And to be able to have support is incredibly important, right? And interoperability cannot be overstated. I think that's, one of your key points there. And so it really is. I mean, I feel like this is so customer centric. And you know what? Trust us to make this happen. We are experts at this, and we can actually give you a massive easy button here. And I think that that's what people are looking for.
Absolutely. They want it simple, right? They want it simple.
Yeah. Yeah. I always want the easy button, David. So let's talk
In every aspect of our life, right, Shelley?
I
In every
do, right.
aspect.
I do. I rarely get the easy button, but I'm
Oh,
always in search of the easy button. So, and I do, in all seriousness, when a vendor partner can serve that up, when you can take that off of my plate and give me one less thing to worry about. And again, it's customer trust. It builds customer loyalty. And the reality of it is there are a lot of vendors in this space. But Poly brings such a reputation, a long track record, I think, of providing these kinds of services, of having an amazing channel partner ecosystem. I think that those are the kind of things that customers today are looking for, whether it's your enterprise customer or your small to mid-sized customer. And again, all of this is customer centric, and seems to be designed around, ease of use and every ease of management, ease of everything. And I think I think that really sets this up for great success. So, talk with me a little bit about the importance of being first to market. That's kind of an exciting thing.
yeah, first to market's it's a big deal whenever you can get out there ahead of your competition. Um, we know that Google's gonna probably fast follow with another provider, right? But being able to get out there first, letting the customer see the technology and the abilities that we bring to market, right? Scaling up your channel ecosystem, doing all those kinds of things. We think will kind of give us kind of that first mover advantage in the marketplace. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so to make it 100% clear, Poly is the first Android appliance certified to work with Google Meet.
That is correct.
That's
We will be
that's
the first.
that's what we're talking about. So that's a really big deal. So aside from this, what other innovative technologies from Poly might Google customers be able to leverage?
I'd probably put it in two, I guess I'd say broad categories, and both of them are driven by AI. I hear a lot about it, but you don't get it's nothing lost to somebody who's in the video space for a while. But camera framing is a big deal, and audio excellence is a big deal in the market. And we bring some incredible framing technology to our customers. We've done it for a long time. We've got group framing, speaker framing, presenter tracking, and we just launched this idea of people framing technology. And the correct framing capability really is ensures that concept of meeting equity, right? For those that are people that are into the office and those remote participants, it really enhances that experience dramatically if you get the framing right. If you get the framing wrong, it's a really bad experience. The
Right.
second is probably on the audio side. We can filter out all those unwanted distractions like the keyboard typing, the dog barking kind of stuff. um, but we also have something, and I'm using it here today, called an acoustic fence, where it actually kind of builds a fence around you on a call. Shelley, you remember that movie Get Smart? I don't know if you
I
remember that.
do.
Uh,
I am old enough to remember Get Smart. Actually, I watched the TV series.
Oh, wow. I did too. I did too. But on Get Smart in the movie, it is not the TV series, but they had this idea of a cone of silence. I don't know if you remember that. And we can literally build a perimeter around someone to block noises outside your general area. Now, unlike the cone of silence, you can actually have a conversation, right? So you can actually, in Get Smart, you can talk with your intended audience. In our case, you can talk with them on a crystal clear call. So framing's a big deal, and audio excellence is a big deal.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, what does all this mean for Google?
I think it means a couple of things. I think they're excited about this. One is choice, right? When you look at Google as a major web conferencing provider, they want to have choices for their customers. And oh, by the way, they want to have choices with a market leader. Um, Customers that have chosen Google Meet, they've got this ability now to look at a very elegant all-in-one form factor based on Android that they didn't have before. It also gives Google the ability to leverage our extensive partner network to scale. We got a lot of partners that really know video conferencing, and it allows Google to work with those resellers that we have, and it also gives us the opportunity, parochially, to work with some of the Google resellers out there that traditionally don't know video conferencing that well. And by the way, if you're one of those Google resellers and you're hearing this, we want to talk to you. No, we really want to have a conversation with you. If you're um, a very, the space, Shell. There's a lot of Google partners out there that are very productivity app
Right.
focused, right? And now with our direct sales engine, those partners have the ability, something that they really can't get with pretty much any other manufacturer out there at scale, is the ability to work with a direct sales team on deals, right? People that really know the space. So, we're super committed to trying to work with Google to support this. Everybody talks about hybrid experiences, but really to support those unique hybrid experiences in the marketplace. We're really excited about it.
Well, that's awesome, and I of course expect the team at Google is very excited about it as well. And as I mentioned when we kicked off this show, there are some really key, very big players in this space, and I think this is an opportunity for Google to expand its market presence in the collab space. Obviously, not a new company, not an unknown company, any of those things, but to more actively be a part of the conversation when we're talking about collaboration platform solutions. I think that's a big opportunity.
Yeah, it is. It is. It just for both of us, for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about plug and play hardware and why is it so important? I mean, I feel like we touched on it a little bit before, but I'd love to know to dive just a little bit deeper into plug and play hardware, why it's so important in today's marketplace, and what this kind of solution does to help support a hybrid workplace.
And I love earlier on in our conversation, Shelley, you talked about, return to work and how things have changed so dramatically over the last couple of years. But, the mantra a year ago was return to work, return to work, return to work, right? Well, guess what? Return to work hasn't moved as quickly as we all probably thought it was going to move.
Well,
But many,
you know what? Hold on. I'm
oh,
going to pop in and say we never stopped working.
oh, absolutely.
We never
Clearly.
stopped
Yeah.
working. And what a pandemic forced us to do was to realize that work happens outside of a physical workplace that's corporate headquarters somewhere. And I think that is really, really important. So I think that you're right. There was at some point there was, and for some organizations, there was the drumbeat of return to the workplace, the physical workplace, get everybody back into the workplace. But I think that we're seeing that that means different things for different companies.
Absolutely. Every company is a little bit unique, and
Yeah,
it's just not happening as quickly as a lot of people. To your point, they thought, hey, immediately everybody's going to return to the office. Well, that's not been the case. But what we are finding is a lot of companies, regardless of scale, they are really looking at, okay, uh, what's that balance look like? But how do I reimagine my office space? Most enterprises are really trying to look at that. And to your point about plug and play, they want powerful, they want easy to deploy devices that can scale. That's what they're after. And plug and play is what makes that a reality. So the obligatory small, medium, large form factors that everybody goes out and talks about, but not everybody does a good job at making it simple. Um, I don't have to worry about external compute. I don't have to worry about dangling video cameras.
right.
Speed of deployment, manageability, all that kind of stuff is, there's no doubt about it, it's enhanced by technology that's plug and play. And it's really kind of that simple. We all talk about the old adage, time is money, and it is, right?
It
If I
is.
can do it quickly, it's money. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So this partnership with Google is really just the latest partnership for Poly. Talk with me a little bit, if you would, how, and I'll step back from that and say, we talk a lot here at Futurum Research about the importance of strategic partnerships and how we believe the days of, figure it out yourself, build it yourself, do it yourself, those days are in many instances behind us, because the reality of it is that smart strategic partnerships are so much smarter. They're so much more affordable. Sometimes they speed, speed a resolution, they speed to value, all of those sorts of things. So talk with me a little bit, if you would, about how partnerships are being used by Poly to help Poly stand out in the collaboration marketplace.
It's hard, Shelley, to have a name like Polly, which means many, and not
Right.
not value relationships, right? We value them. Um, but we really want to have deep and meaningful relationships with the top web conferencing providers, right? If I just pick on that space. We don't just talk about it, we've invested deeply with resources from the product teams to sales to support those top alliance partners. And as they grow, we want to continue to grow with them. From a Google perspective, we're very conscious about the decisions that we make. We want to make sure that whatever the number is now, 100 million plus daily, meet participants that they really have seamless collaboration experiences now with Poly, and we think we can bring that to the table. When you talk about partnerships, I can't just talk about web conferencing providers. I got to talk about our reseller community as well. I can't stress enough how valuable they are. They're vital. They're strategic part of our go-to-market motion. Most of our business traverses with a channel partner into the ecosystem and to our customers. And when you look at partnerships, I think you probably saw in the market, HP just bought us. And we think there's some phenomenal opportunities now that HP has made that acquisition of, but I think last year, if the number serves me right, about 10 million Chromebooks that were sold last year in the marketplace through HP. So they were the number one share player from Chromebooks sold. And just think about when you think about partnerships and about scale and about all that kind of stuff, the ability to leverage that incredible scale HP brings to the space is fantastic. Outside of video, even, but to attach headsets, to attach personal video devices, into by the way, a motion that's pretty well defined, right? But partnerships is the key, and I think even in some of the announcements you saw recently, there are a couple of partners that kind of felt like they could do it all alone, all by themselves, and you're seeing they're probably realizing that's very difficult to do.
Absolutely. And it's
Yeah.
just it's difficult, and it's just really not it's not, I don't think it's smart. And I think the path forward is really forming strong alliances and leveraging the strengths of, your partner ecosystem. It makes so much sense. I think you have exciting times ahead for sure. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to leave our listeners with, our viewers and listeners with?
No, I think if you want to find out a whole lot of details, there'll be some press releases that will come out here pretty quickly about this. But obviously, poly.com/Google. You can go there and get a whole lot of information on the alliance relationship we have with Google.
Yeah, and we'll include links to the Poly site. We will update the show notes here once published when the press releases come out. So we'll do our part to keep our audience informed as well. But with that, thank you so much for spending time with me today, David. It's been wonderful, and I knew it would be. And but really exciting times ahead for Poly and for Google, and with Poly Studio X family. I think. Lots to be excited about there. So thank you very much for spending time with me today, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. Next time we do this, let's do it over a plate of KC barbecue. How's that sound? I'm
You
in.
betcha. I'm up for that anytime. All right, my friend. Thanks. And with that, for our audience, thank you for spending time with us today. Again, we'll have lots of information that we'll share in the show notes here, and we'll see you again next time.